But we have hopped over the South China Sea, KT, and we find ourselves in a 30-metre mountain covered with foliage, and we're about to get very, very wet. Where on earth, other than Singapore, would you find something like this?
Well, I thought I'd bring you around this botany area. You know, there's waterfalls, it's very soothing. There's a crystal mountain we can visit later on, and you know, there's a trek as well around here, so it's very nice.
Well, apparently, when this mist kicks in, you can't see as you're walking around, which pretty much seems just like many people's week in Hong Kong. Speaking of which, we've got to reflect on that.
Yeah.
How good is the Kong?
Oh, mate, I mean, Shabao in front of the South Stand singing, well, I can walk, mate, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Hey.
I must admit to losing a little bit of respect for him. Gaining in some ways, but his rugby legend folklore has now well and truly gone. But Fiji stole the show. Once again, they're showing just how special that place is to them.
5 in a row. I mean, that's going to be tough to top. I know your boys did 4, but 5 is insane.
So good. And Jerry Tuai, he's been there for them all, hasn't he? Unbelievable scenes. He is, the second person ever to have done that on the HSBC World 7 Series. Yeah,
behind Oscar Colenisau, you know, so he's up there with the legends. Also, the young man, my French team, they come through. Made the final back-to-back, son. Hey.
This guy has been calling about all year.
Yeah.
Fair play to that. And when you talk about the French, there's one person in particular we've got to give you ups to. Yeah. Although, I don't want to talk him up too much because you did say that Tui Mamba was going to be the player of the tournament. He came in, he was HSBC Wants to Watch last time. This time, check out HSBC Want to Watch, Gabin Villiers.
Magnifique. What a try from Villiers. The MVP in this one is Villiers. That one, folks, was all about Gabin Villiers.
Great placement of the defend, try time.
Steadying, bumping, and getting there.
He's been a star for them this weekend. The kiss of the ball, the fancy finish.
Gabin Villiers. What a player, what a try.
Well, vive la France. Hey, do you think they're the goods to keep going?
I hope so. We've said for a long time we want to see France step up, and they've done so, you know, this last few tournaments, really looking strong. They're quite a balanced team now. I mean, I've got a bit of a man crush on Benrahma. Yeah, I can watch him all day, French Foreign Legion, which makes him basically Bruce Lee, I'm hard. That's how good he is.
Yeah, Chuck Norris, I think you're looking for.
Yeah.
No one messes with Chuck Norris.
It's your era, mate.
Hey, there we go, there it is. Do you think they can sustain it, though?
I do. I think, you know, they've got the infrastructure there. I know Ben Ryan's helping them out on a consultancy basis, and they've got this real drive towards both the Olympics and World Cup in the next few years. So France, the rugby across the board is looking really strong.
Well, we'll move on from the team I picked, and you relented not to, but Ireland winning the qualifier, how good?
Yeah, and to be honest, I've watched Ireland for a number of years now. They started off at the bottom of Rugby Europe B. Really tough games. Some of those places you go play rugby, you wouldn't think
Georgia and Poland and what have you.
Liechtenstein, yeah, fair few of them, mate. Really intriguing league. But they got through it, they've sustained that, and what I like about it, they've still got some of the originals. So their team spirit is pretty phenomenal. They do a lot of invitational rugby today, and they're good tourists.
And the thing is, like, they did well in London last year, but do you think them back-to-back tournaments like the other teams?
I think that's going to be a real challenge for them. I know they've got a lot of performance to be set up there. It's a really big thing to try and get a squad. You throw injuries in there, logistics, and even, you know, making sure it's a professional setup. That's not what they're used to. It's going to be a big change for them. But it's all about also looking at who they're going to replace.
Well, that's it, isn't that? Bit of a race. The Welsh in last place after Hong Kong. I mean, who would have picked that?
For the first time this season. 3 points separating the bottom 3. Japan and Kenya, both looking pretty scared, which means not just the top end of the cup this week's going to be fantastic, but also Challenge Trophy, every single point is going to count.
Yeah, not to say that those teams are going to be in there straight off the bat. I remember Kenya won here before, so they got some currency here. You never know.
Singapore used to be the tournament of surprises, so you never know what's going to come. Sevens, as we always say, so difficult to predict, apart from you get it right twice in a bounce. But for me, I think it's one of these tournaments we look forward to seeing. Can Fiji back it up? Because it went pretty well last year.
Oh, they went absolutely outstanding, and one guy in particular, Landuva, had a worldie.
Had a worldie. Speaking of which, Rupert Cox, we salute you, sir. Some of the best comms for one of the best tries.
Nanduva's bursting through. He needs support, or does he? Goodness gracious me! Alessio Nanduva has scored an absolute worldie to win the Singapore Sevens for Fiji.
So let's get into the Olympics, KT.
Yes.
All eyes on that top 4 getting really hotly contested at the moment.
And we might have our first qualifier in Singapore if things go their way.
Yeah, USA have to finish just 3 points higher than England, and they're guaranteed that Olympic qualification. That is absolutely massive.
Oh, no, I mean, who would have picked beginning of the season that would happen by Singapore? So imagine them going into the last 2 legs. Release.
Yeah, and to add to that, Fiji need a 10-point gap over England and New Zealand need 15. So really is interesting, and a lot of people are probably hoping that England tank it this weekend.
Oh, mate, there's a lot of pressure on them. I think they'll weigh them up, though. I think they'll go good.
Well, this weekend, set to see many surprises, as we always see in the game of Rugby Sevens. And HSBC have the usual hot seat action, the dance cam, which we love to see. Bod, we know he's pretty good at rugby, is this time trying himself out cross-sport against one of badminton stars from Singapore.
Apparently he's been training in Ireland. I think he's booked him for a rub. That's about it, what he's been doing.
Yeah, might have been a low-key week for Brian O'Driscoll, but we'll see how he gets on. As ever, you can keep an eye on all the content from World Sevens, all about at World Rugby Sevens. We can go and, what, Instagrams for you there?
InstaSnap.
You are all over Instagram at the moment. Check out Carlton Arnold.
I'm trying.
The usual on Twitter and obviously Facebook as well. It's been a pleasure to bring you that Sevens show. We'll see you in London where, fingers crossed, we'll know a bit about Brexit.
There we go.